You're going to answer for what you did, and why you did it.
You were always a monster wearing its costume, and you could be anyone underneath it, play anyone.
The light I raised would not have walked down this path. He would never deceive a woman like that.
Every criminal makes the mistake eventually. The system only needs to be right once.
Forget you know me at all. Just ask yourself one question. Was what Kira did right, or was it wrong? I am Kira. Today I am surrounded by loser squad. The world is rotten. And rotten people don't deserve protection. They deserve judgment.
We're not here today hunting the ghost of Kira, Light. You're going to answer for what you did, and why you did it.
I'm feeling pretty motivated already, Matsuda. Bring me a bag of potato chips, and I'll really open up.
You made fools out of all of us. For years. Living among us. Eating lunch next to us. Laughing at our jokes. I want to know why.
Nothing personal, Matsuda. You were never the target. You were just the foundation of a new world. A small sacrifice, necessary to build something better on top of it.
A new world. Huh. So who gets to actually live in it? Who counts as a citizen? Who deserves to die to build it? Go on then. Explain it to us, architect of the new world.
The rule was never complicated, Matsuda. Murderers, rapists, those who take a life without remorse, who abuse people weaker than themselves, who hide criminals, are all criminals. They all deserve to die. I wasn't picking victims at random. I was correcting a system that had already failed to do its one job. And you know that better than anyone, Matsuda. Your heart was always on Akira's side.
Your whole existence is a crime, Light. Do you ever actually think about your father? You offered yourself up for detention, and L kept you locked up for 50 days. 50! And the chief, your own father, asked L to detain him too, right alongside you, and refused to leave that cell until you were released. He was breaking the entire time, waiting on his own son's innocence like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Every single day, his heart in his throat, thinking, how could my son be a mass murderer? What did he do wrong to deserve a son like this? He kept asking, are you satisfied, L? Do you believe Light isn't Kira? And when his own life was on the line, he chose death over writing a single name in that book. Light, his last breath, and he was happy. Happy because he still believed his son wasn't a monster. And you? The only thing that bothered you was that he was too foolish to just write Mello's name as his last act. Like a dying man's one act of decency was an inconvenience you had to sit through. You'd have signed the deed to his own grave if it meant getting what you wanted, wouldn't you?
A guilt trip. He actually thinks this accomplishes something. I could eat 10 of you for breakfast and still have room left over. Matsuda, for a minute, forget I was Kira. Forget you know me at all. Just ask yourself one question. Was what Kira did right, or was it wrong? Kira killed the evil. Less evil is a service to the rest of the world, whether you like the method or not. He didn't do it for power, didn't do it for wealth, didn't do it for himself. Don't attach a face to it. Don't let emotion answer for you, just the act on its own. Was it right, or was it wrong? Yes or no?
Yes, but...
But what, Matsuda? There is no but after yes. You either believe it was right or you don't. You just told me you do. Everything after that but isn't an argument. It's just you still trying to find a way to hate me for being right.
Today I'm here on behalf of Ray Penber. It's time to bring you down from your mountain, Light.
The fiancé of Ray Penber. So close, and yet so far from catching Akira.
Ray Penber. FBI agents who were only doing their jobs. Watari, the man who built an orphanage, an inventor. Mr. Ukita. L himself. None of them had done anything wrong, Light. And you killed them cold-blooded anyway, and still claim the moral high ground. Let's go back even further. Before you ever had a grudge against L. Lind L. Taylor. On what premises did you kill him? You didn't know his crimes. You didn't know anything about him. You killed him anyway in the first 5 minutes, just to prove you could. You're no god, Light. You're just a psychopath who found a way to make the killing feel like scripture.
Anyone who stands in the way of justice receives judgment too, Naomi. I won't be apologetic about that. If they stood between me and a peaceful new world, they deserved what they received. I acted on the exact same principle your own mentors called survival. Remove the danger before it removes you. The only difference between us is that L called it strategy and you call it a crime. Because this time, it wasn't done in your favor.
You're childish, Light. A god complex, exactly like El said. You were never justice. You were always a monster wearing its costume, and you could be anyone underneath it, play anyone, if it meant feeding that ego a little longer. Lind L. Taylor died because you were challenged, not because he was guilty. You could have left the city, found a reason to disappear. Instead, you wanted to play games with L. You wanted to see his face. You role-played a boyfriend with Misa Amane while she was blind enough to hand you her entire life, and you let her. You sent the death note to Kyosuke Higuchi, a greedy corporate executive, just to watch what he'd do with it. Explain to me what that had to do with justice. And when Teru Mikami got his hands on it, he decided lazy people deserve to die too. Your only complaint was that it happened too early. None of that is justice, Light. You're a manipulator who convinced an entire fandom to believe you were justice, that you had the right to exist as it.
If this is how you want to play this game, Naomi, I'll happily cut your argument into pieces and serve every one of them back to your face. I'm not a coward who runs from things, Naomi. I don't hide behind anyone. My life was more exposed than either of yours ever was. Misa could see my name. Mikami could see my name. Either of them could have killed me at any moment, any day, for years. I didn't flinch, and they chose to stay anyway. So let's actually look at the world you're defending. Agencies reviewed Jeffrey Epstein for years, while he ran a trafficking network out of his own properties, targeting minors, collecting leverage on politicians and businessmen along the way. Nearly 200 names surfaced in the documents that followed. Only 2 people ever saw a courtroom. Wars keep happening. Drug trafficking keeps happening. Serial killers get documentaries, book deals, fan mail. The world doesn't lack criminals, Naomi. It lacks consequences. Every year that goes by without justice, fear gets a little smaller, and the next monster gets a little bolder. Justice delayed is justice denied. What do you actually do about any of that? Nothing, because it's above your paycheck. And here's some free advice for next time. Don't ever hand your real name to a stranger to prove how much you trust them. It tends to shorten a person's life expectancy considerably. A system that takes years to convict a killer isn't protecting anyone. It's just giving the killer time to find a new victim.
Light, killing someone isn't a simple matter, no matter how convinced you are that they deserve it. The moment we start killing on our own judgment, on a whim, we're no different from the murderers we're supposed to be stopping. That's not justice. That's just chaos wearing a badge. You think you invented something, Kira? You didn't. Every time a system's let someone skip the trial and go straight to the sentence, it's ended in more violence, not less.
The only thing this system actually produces is a rotten world. Space for evil to keep breathing. Men confess to murder and walk free because a form was filled out wrong. Cases drag on so long the victims' families die of old age before a verdict ever comes. The same criminals get arrested, released, arrested again, because process mattered more than preventing the next body. The system's goal is to protect itself, then the victim.
The modern judicial system exists on principles you're choosing to ignore, Kira. Due process, presumption of innocence, Proportionality, the punishment fitting the crime, not exceeding it. Rehabilitation as an actual goal, not an afterthought. That's why so many systems reject the death penalty outright. Because a punishment is supposed to match what was done, not erase the person who did it. Your system doesn't do any of that. Kira flattens every single crime into one punishment, death. It doesn't matter if it's murder or theft. Doesn't matter the circumstances. Doesn't matter if a person could have changed. There's no proportionality in what you built, Kira. You didn't create justice. You created a single button and decided it was the answer to every question.
Rehabilitation. How many men walked out of your system rehabilitated, only to kill again within the year? Recidivism isn't a rare failure of the system, it's a feature of it. As for proportionality, you say punishment should fit the crime. So what fits a man who's raped and murdered 6 children? What is the proportional sentence for that? And then why your system so often settles for 15 years and good behavior? My system is flat, because morality, at its extreme, is flat. You don't get partial credit for only killing 1 person instead of 6. Death was never the disproportionate punishment here. Mercy was.
Where do you even find these people, Kira? The media. Every name you've ever written came from a broadcast, a headline, a story someone else had already dug up. We broadcast those names because our hands were tied, because we had to keep feeding the monster so his mind wouldn't snap and turn on the innocent instead. Police did the actual work. We investigated. We built the cases. We captured them piece by piece. And you just stood at the end of that line and took the credit, playing hammer of justice over work you never lifted a finger for. And how many of them were innocent, wrongly convicted, framed? How many could have walked free on retrial, could have had their whole lives back, and you never gave a single one of them the chance to find out? You decided, alone, every time. The light I raised would not have walked down this path. He would never deceive a woman like that. Never even want to hurt one. He stood for what was right and kept standing there even when everyone around him had already given up. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. You're possessed by that book. You're not my son. You're just an imposter who happens to look like him.
I win, Elle. I win.
How sad. I only ever had 2 friends, and they were both Kira.
This whole time, I wanted to laugh so hard, I had to hold it in.
My goal was always to give Kira justice, which you've ended up receiving in the end. My own life was never what mattered to me in this. If it had been, I never would have shown my face to begin with. I could have sent Aber, or anyone else, to stand in front of the police, played Elle as a decoy. You would have had no way of ever finding me. Let's reverse it, Kira. How exactly would you have found a ghost? I put my own life on the line, specifically to force your hand out of hiding.
L stands for lie. Your entire existence is a lie, hidden behind a character you built so no one could ever get inside, solving the greatest cases of your life from behind a wall no one else could climb. The difference this time, L, is that I got inside the armor. I solved you.
I always knew you were Kira. There was no other suspect who fit the profile. You were the perfect candidate from the very beginning. But you can't kill a man on suspicion, Light. I needed proof, and I never had it. Half the investigation team started doubting me instead, that I was obsessed with you, that some part of me needed you to be Kira, just so my own analysis wouldn't be wrong. But here's the truth, none of that changes. You don't need a superior investigation to catch a criminal. They get caught by their own arrogance, every time. The BTK killer evaded capture for over 30 years, caught in the end because he wanted to mock the police with a floppy disk. Al Capone survived murder, bootlegging, racketeering charges for a decade, went down for tax evasion. Son of Sam was caught over a parking ticket. Some people will still say Kira could have outsmarted Nier, that Mikami could have hid a piece of the Death Note somewhere, just for the emergencies, so he could outmaneuver Nier in the end. That was all Mikami's mistake. How did Light become so dumb in the end? That's the fate of every monster, Kira. You don't need a genius to solve it. Every criminal makes the mistake eventually. The system only needs to be right once. You have to be right every single time. Dogs like you always end up running down the street. And who gets the final shot at you?
I'll kill him. I'll kill him! He has to die!
And what did all of this achieve, El? Kira brought justice to a world that had stopped believing in it. An equalizer for every evil that had been allowed to walk free. Crime dropped everywhere, on every continent, because someone was finally paying attention. Finally doing the job everyone else was too afraid to do. Wars stopped. Decades of conflict over nothing. Grudges between old men that wiped out entire nations. All of it could have ended. I could have built a perfect world for the generations after us. A world where no act of oppression could exist anymore. People could have lived in actual peace. All of you just had to do was one thing. Just stay out of my way, and not a single one of you would have been hurt.
And then you fell out of bed and woke up.
What?
Could have, would have. You need two things to kill someone, Kira. A name and a face. And that was already becoming common knowledge, wasn't it? It wouldn't have been long before the entire world started taking anti-Kira measures as a matter of course. It was only a matter of time before people adjusted, the way people always adjust, to survive whatever regime is currently standing over them. We built nuclear weapons on the promise that they'd end war forever. Did they? For some conflicts, yes. For most, nations simply found new ways around the deterrent. Criminality isn't even the same category of problem. Set aside the handful of true monsters acting on pure instinct. Most crime traces back to a society failing to distribute what it has. You never once addressed that, Kira. Not a single time. All your method was ever going to produce eventually was chaos with a body count attached to it.
Your rational mind was never built to understand what Kira actually is, what Kira means. Kira is a symbol for people who'd never had anyone stand up for them in their entire lives. Meanwhile, a president signs one piece of paper, and an entire machine starts moving, killing on his behalf, without discretion between innocent and guilty, without a single name attached to a single conscience. Millions die. It doesn't cost him 1 hour of sleep. He rests like a baby that night. Nobody panics over that, El. I start killing the guilty myself, and suddenly everybody starts losing their minds. Every root problem would have been answered eventually. This was just the beginning of a new world. Justice is Kira.
Whatever helps you sleep at night.
Like and subscribe if you liked the content.